Hello, you are watching News 9 Digital's Facebook Live with me, Amrita, and in this particular update, we have brought you the revisions that are made by the Union Health Ministry with regards to the standard operating procedures for holding examinations. These changes also come ahead of the NEET 2020 examination. So what are these updates that you need to keep in mind before you attend these examinations? And also this also pertains to the invigilators who will be conducting the examinations. To speak more about this and to bring you all of the updates, I have with me Ashish. Ashish, do tell us what are these few revisions which have been made to the existing standard operating procedures?
Well, absolutely, Amrita. There are a lot of changes that are being made, of course, coming in as part of the recommendations that the government had received, and also the fact that a lot of people were demanding, were not really happy with the kind of guidelines that were being issued, and had a problem with all of that. So there are these additions that are being made, and I'll just list out a few of them, so that the viewers understand as to what are the changes that are being made as far as the examination now is concerned. Earlier, if you remember, symptomatic patients were given an opportunity. There was a permission for them to go out and write the exam in an isolated room. Now that won't be allowed. In fact, this particular guideline states that the symptomatic aspirant who is of course showing symptoms will be referred to the nearest health center and provided a chance to appear for the test through other modes. So there are other alternatives that they are discussing, and they do not really have to, there is no compulsion that anyone who has the symptoms also has to write the examination at the same time, because a lot of people were complaining that symptomatic patients whose health is very deteriorating very much are also being forced to write the exam with other healthy students, and that renders some sort of a disadvantage for the symptomatic patients. So that clearly has been addressed, and this particular guideline has also been issued. Apart from that, a self declaration form also needs to be filled both by invigilators and by students as well, failing which these both of them will not be allowed to write the examination. Now the self declaration form that we're talking about will be circulated at the time of issue of admit tickets, and also all of these procedures will have to be followed in case they want to attend the examination. And this is a strict rule that has been brought in, wherein the self declaration form is made a must and must be filled by both the invigilators and the students before they write. Now pen and paper based tests are also creating a lot of problems. A lot of people raised questions as to how touching papers or touching surfaces could possibly lead to the spread of virus, especially if the viral load in a person is more. So now the new guidelines state that everything from a pen to a paper to anything that is there in the examination hall, for example, a paper is kept on a desk, and in case someone is passing the paper to you, the paper will have to be sanitized. In fact, the hands will have to be sanitized, and it has to be made sure that any sort of a contact is based on sanitized modes only, and there is no other way of contact, because this of course is something that has created a lot of troubles in the past as well. If you remember, many other countries where the spread of virus has been among school students and even college students, even in the United States, a lot of children started getting all of these as soon as classes started opening up. This was one of the major modes of transmission, the fact that they were sharing all of these items, all of these books and all these other papers and all of that. So that is one major mode of transmission, and to address that, this particular guideline has also been brought in. Apart from that, use of spit, saliva for counting and distributing sheets will not be allowed. Now of course this is something that is very subjective, not everyone does that, but at the same time this is a very common practice as far as a lot of people are concerned, because they just want to get a better grip, and this has become a norm these days. It's been there for the past few years, and of course yes, it's normal practice. And even during the pandemic, a lot of people might probably forget the fact that we are going through this particular phase in our lives. So it is being made as a rule to make sure that people remember that use of saliva or any other modes of fluid will have to be barred to avoid the spread of virus. And these are the additional guidelines that have been brought in to make sure that the examination is smooth and also safe at the same time, making sure that both invigilators and also students are safe throughout the entire process.
Thank you, Ashish, for bringing us all of those updates. So these were some of the points that we need to remember. So symptomatic people who have probably not been tested for COVID-19, now they have to be referred to the nearest healthcare centers. There is no option for giving the tests in an isolated room. In fact, according to the colleges and universities, these tests can be held through other modes, probably online, and they can also be held at a later date as well if possible. And by the discretion of the university or colleges they are attending. Other than that, the pen and paper based test, Ashish, my colleague, rightly mentioned that people, whoever is handling these things in an examination center, first the invigilator will have to sanitize their hands when they are picking up and distributing these papers, and when the students themselves are receiving, they need to sanitize their hands and receive it, and while returning back they have to repeat this practice. And yes, absolutely no use of ticking papers or earmarking papers using saliva. So these are some of the things that we need to keep in mind. Other than this, according to the standard operating procedure, examination centers will also be arranging for personal protection gears like face masks or hand sanitizers, soap, sodium hypochlorite solution, all of this, and these shall be provided by the universities, educational institutions, examination conducting authorities or examination centers to the staff as well as the students as per the necessity. So in case students or the staff members forget to bring their masks or the required protective gears, they might also request for the same at their examination centers, but it is helpful if they know ahead of time whether their centers are in fact distributing these gears in case they do not have it. You can leave your opinion in the comment section down below. Also like, share and subscribe to News 9 Digital.